Hey guys, TJ here with the MMA Jackal. UFC 300 was last week, and I just wanted to come on and make a video today on Max Holloway and what in my opinion, what should be next for him. If you've been living under a rock, like I said, UFC 300 was last week, and it was billed as one of the greatest cards in the history of the sport, and it absolutely delivered. Absolutely. I think the crowning jewel of the entire event was the Max Holloway-Justin Gaethje fight, where for the BMF title, if that's something you are into, they went to absolute war for 5 rounds for 24 minutes and 59 seconds, where Max Holloway knocks Justin Gaethje out in the last second of the fight. I mean, if it was in the script of a movie about MMA, you wouldn't even believe it. But so Max Holloway has a pretty dominant appearance last week. He dominates Justin Gaethje for most of the fight. I had a four rounds. Or three rounds to 1 going into the 5th round, and Max Holloway winning the 5th. So, with 10 seconds left in the fight, he gives Justin Gaethje the only opportunity he has in the entire universe to actually win this fight. And he points to the center of the octagon. And we all know from UFC 199, when he did this with Ricardo Lamas, that when he points to the center of the octagon, that means we're going to stand toe-to-toe in the middle of this cage, and we're going to throw bombs at each other. And for the next 10 seconds, you have every opportunity in the world to land one on my chin and win this fight. If not, I'm going to land one on yours, which is what he did, and wrote history. I mean, it was one of the most iconic moments in the entire sport. It'll be remembered years and years from now. So that was actually a 155-pound fight. Max is typically a 145-pound fighter, but he looked excellent. He looked great last week. He put on a little muscle. He wasn't getting pushed around. He wasn't getting bullied by Justin. He looked, Justin didn't look too big for him. So what's next? What's next for Max? Does he stay at 155, take another high-level fight, and cement his legacy? Go up and fight Islam Makhachev and maybe beat him? Or does he go back to 145 and reclaim his crown? Personally, I think the answer is obvious. You go back to 145 and you fight Ilia Topuria. This is a match made in UFC heaven. I mean, it's on a platter for Dana White. You have Max Holloway, a fan favorite right now, arguably the most popular fighter in the sport. Super humble guy. He doesn't even like the fact that the title he fought for last week was the baddest motherfucker belt. He wants it. He said as long as he's holding it, it's blessed man forever. Like, he's just such a nice guy. You can't not like him. If you don't like Max Holloway, you're probably an asshole. Then we have Ilia Topuria, who loves playing the villain. English isn't his first language. He's not a big star over in America, but in Spain, he's a superstar. I mean, Real Madrid is one of the biggest football teams in the world, and they brought him out. He's on the front page of their magazines. Everyone, if you're in Spain, you know who Ilia Topuria is. And it's a market that's not saturated by the UFC. It's something that they can break into. And you have 2 of the biggest stars in the sport right now, respectively, and they're on a collision course for each other. Not to mention, I don't think Max Holloway's legacy is his most, the thing he's striving for. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. I think Max puts more weight into being a undisputed champion of a weight class than he does something like the BMF title, or the fact if he's going to go up and challenge for another belt and possibly become a double champ. He was asked at the press conference just moments, literal moments after this iconic moment that we all witnessed last week. He has one of the most iconic knockouts in UFC history. And he's asked by a reporter, is this your biggest, I don't know if he phrased it as knockout or the biggest win of your career? And Max said, no, this is number 2. It's second to his defeat when he beat Jose Aldo for the undisputed 145-pound belt. He said, "No, when I beat the King of Rio, that was the biggest win of my career." And I think that speaks to the fact that Max puts a lot of weight into that. When he lost that title to Volkanovski, the first two fights were super close. I'm a huge Max fan, so I thought he won the second fight. I tried to watch it unbiased, which is impossible for me. I watched it back a few times. I gave it to him on the rewatch. Then the third fight comes, and it's just Volkanovski just outclassed them. And in that moment, you weren't wrong if you said, maybe it's over for Max. You know, he's been in these absolute wars. You know, he's taken more significant shots than anyone else in the sport. And maybe that's it for him. And you wouldn't have been wrong. I mean, where else was he going to go? He tried to go to 155 and fight Dustin Poirier, and he got bullied around the ring. It really didn't work for him. So you're like, and Volkanovski, it didn't look like he was going to lose anytime soon, right? So it didn't look like Max had very many options. And then here comes this fight that I don't know if it wasn't for an event like UFC 300, I don't know if this fight ever would have got made. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for UFC 300, I don't know if Dana White sits down with Hunter and whoever else he talks to or whoever else makes these decisions. It's like, you know what we need? We need to put Justin Gaethje against Max Holloway. Maybe they would have because the BMF title's already a thing, but either way, it happens. And I said going in to last week, I was talking with my cousin who's a huge MMA fan like me, and actually moments before the fight starts, I'm like, Max is going to just work Justin for 5 rounds, then knock him out, or just win decisively, just far and away, show that he's the best boxer in MMA. Then he's going to go back down, fight Ilia Topuria, regain the 145-pound strap, and ride off into the sunset. And my cousin was like, you're dreaming, bro. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Justin's going to knock him out. And I didn't know. I'm not saying like I knew what was going to happen last week. This is just what I was hoping for. And the first part of it has actually happened. So moving forward, as I said before, I think it's clear. Max goes back down to 145. He reclaims that strap. He beats Ilia Topuria. He gives Volkanovski another shot. He beats Volk. And then he rides off into the sunset. So let me know what you guys think. That's my take on it. You know, I'm open to suggestions, other opinions. What do you think should be next for Max? Leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, go Bills.